evening and welcome to the State of Business on our television. This is Madhusha Thavapalakumar. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines first. Sri Lanka signs 2 MOUs with Seychelles. Sri Lanka lacks technology to adjust fuel price on a daily basis, says Finance Minister. Now the stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena, who is on a 2-day official visit on the invitation of Seychelles, President Danny Forey met him yesterday at the State House. Both countries signed 2 new memoranda of understanding for further expansion of bilateral cooperation. The new agreement on advancement of information technology was signed between the University of Moratuwa and the Information Technology University of Seychelles, and the agreement relating to the expansion of the bilateral cooperation in the field of vocational training was signed between the Sri Lanka Vocational Technology University and the Seychelles Technology Institute. During this meeting, President Sirisena said that he will give instructions to the relevant sectors to improve the relations between the business forums of both countries. The Sri Lankan president also noted that the expectation is to get more Sri Lankan businessmen to participate in the trade fair, which is scheduled to be held in Seychelles at the end of this year. The Seychelles president expressed his gratitude to President Sirisena for providing assistance to improve the health sector in Seychelles and requested training opportunities for doctors from Seychelles in Sri Lanka. The president of Seychelles also stated that a permanent place will be allocated for the construction of the Sri Lankan High Commission, which is currently based in a leased building. Nearly 2,400 Sri Lankan workers are currently employed in Seychelles, and President Sirisena also extended his thankfulness to the Seychelles president for the support given to the welfare of those employees. Addressing the media during a United National Party press conference this morning, Minister of Finance and Mass Media Mangala Samaravira noted that Sri Lanka lacks adequate technology to adjust the fuel price formula on a daily basis.
ඉන්දියාවේ මිල සූත්‍රයේ දිනපතා වෙනස් කරනවා. තවත් රටවල මාස දෙක තුනකට සැරයක්. නමුත් අපි දිනපතා කරන්න අපිට තාක්ෂණය නැහැ. මොකද හැමදාම රාත්‍රී 12ට එන ඒ අලුත් ගාන තාක්ෂණය හරහා තමයි ඉන්දියාවේ හැම පෙට්‍රල් ෂෙඩ් එකකටම ඒ ගාන දානවා. නමුත් අපිට ඒ තාක්ෂණය නැහැ. මොකද දිනපතා කරොත් ඇඟට දැනෙන ගාන අඩුයි.
Convening a press conference in Battaramulla this morning, Minister Patali Champikaranwaka made the following remarks with regard to the debt burden of Sri Lanka.
මේ ගෙවන ණය වලින් 80%ක් පමණ රාජපක්ෂ පවුලේ සාපය ශ්‍රී ලංකන් එකේ ඒ වගේම හම්බන්තොට වරායේ මත්තල ගුවන්තොටුපොලේ ඒ වගේම සූර්ය ක්‍රිකට් ක්‍රීඩාංගණේ මේ වගේ නම් ලයිස්තුවක් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්. මෙන්න මේ සුදු වලි ටික නඩත්තු කරන්න තමයි ජනතාව මේ සාපය ගෙවන්නේ. ඒක බොහොම පැහැදිලිව කියන්න ඕනේ. මේ ළඟදී අපි චීනෙන් ණයක් ගන්න යනවා. ඒ වගේ ඒ ණය තවත් ඉදිරියට වැඩි වීම සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඇත්තටම ණය ගෙවීම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි ආදායම ඉපදෙවුවන. ශ්‍රී ලංකන් එක විතරක් ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ සහ නිශාන්ත වික්‍රමසිංහ පාලනය කරපු දැන් මේ ආර්ථිකය පාලනය කරන්න ඉන්නේ වියත්මන් හදාගෙන ඒගොල්ලෝ විතරක් මිහින් ලංකා එකේ සහ ශ්‍රී ලංකන් එකේ කරපු විනාශය රුපියල් බිලියන 200ක් අද මේ වෙනකොට පහුගිය මාර්තු 31 වෙනිදාට රුපියල් බිලියන 200ක් මේ අවුරුද්ද අවසන් වෙනකොට ආසන්නයෙන් ඩොලර් බිලියන 2ක්.
Speaking further, Minister Ranawaka elaborated on the 3 main reasons for the depreciation of the Sri Lankan rupee.
රුපියල පිළිබඳව බලපාන සාධක මොනවද? මේකට ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම බලපාන කරුණු 3ක් තියෙනවා මූලික වශයෙන්. එකක් තමයි අපි හඳුන්වන වෙළඳ පරතරය. එහෙම නැත්නම් ට්‍රේඩ් ඩෙෆිසිට් එක. ඊළඟට අපි කියනවා ජංගම ගිණුම. ඒ ජංගම ගිණුමට බලපානවා මේ රටේ අපි කරන සංචාරක ව්‍යාපාරයෙන් අපි උපදවනවා ඩොලර්. එතකොට විදේශ රටවල් වල සේවය කරන අය උපයනවා ඩොලර්. අපේ මිනිස්සු පිටරට ගිහිල්ලා වියදම් කරනවා ඩොලර්. මෙන්න මේ වගේ ඒවා තියෙනවා. ඒවා මේ සේවා ගිණුමේ සටහන් වෙනවා. ඊළඟට රටක් හැටියට අපි විදේශ ණය ගෙවන්න තියෙනවා. විදේශ පොලි ගෙවන්න තියෙනවා. මේ සියල්ලෙන්ම ඇති වෙනවා ගෙවුම් ශේෂය එහෙම නැත්නම් balance of payment කියන එක.
Let's take a look at more news after this short break. Welcome back. A World Bank report suggests that if trade barriers are overcome, trade within South Asia can increase threefold from $23 billion to $67 billion. The report, A Glass Half Full, The Promise of Regional Trade in South Asia, highlights 4 critical obstacles to regional trade, which are border tax distortions, non-tariff barriers, connectivity costs, and trust deficits, and offers options for policymakers to address them. The report also helps to quantify commonly known benefits associated with a more integrated South Asia.
Trade has played a critical role in reducing poverty. But in South Asia, which accounts for 1/3 of the world's poor, it remains the world's least integrated region. The result is much reduced benefits that could be enjoyed by the respective economies and subsequently by its citizens. One can no longer afford to fear cross-border trade. Rather, that energy will be better spent ensuring that when borders open, the companies and products that become exposed to this new competition can in fact remain competitive. So far, much of the analysis of trade in South Asia has addressed the obstacles to trade from a higher level perspective and provided policy suggestions at a similar level of aggregation. However, such broad guidance does not seem to have catalyzed any significant momentum in South Asia toward removing critical policy obstacles. How can trade liberalization be done? And how can it maximize the positive impact and take care of the negative impacts on participating economies? Literature shows that East Asia, most of the countries have benefited from a more open approach to trade, with a resulting increase in sustained growth and poverty reduction. A particularly interesting example, and I'm sure many of you have heard this over and over again, but I'm going to use it again today. Sri Lanka has started to make some much needed measures to open its economy in recent years. In the 2017 budget, for many of you who spent hours reading it like we have, it rationalized para-tariffs for about 1,200 lines, which was a significant step to cleaning up the complex and non-transparent tariff regime. On trade and investment facilitation, the Trade Information Portal was launched in July and has seen good uptake by traders since that launch.
Sanjay Kathuria, World Bank lead economist and lead author of the report, says that air services liberalization between Sri Lanka and India serves as a potent example for the rest of South Asia. On a further note, he stated that air services liberalization entailed small steps backed by persistence, which cumulatively made a substantial impact.
We know that India, Sri Lanka have 147 flights a week. Pakistan, Sri Lanka only have 10 flights a week. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka only 6 flights a week, and so on. What is it what happened between India and Sri Lanka that made it so different? Colombo, you can go to 14 Indian cities directly, non-stop, right? Why is air services, which is one part of connectivity, right? We're exploring that because it was a success story. As we said, the glass half full. It's part of the success that the region has enjoyed. It's important nevertheless, because it has impact on high value goods, it has an impact on services trade, it has an impact on foreign investment. And what we did is we looked at the 2 bilateral air services liberalization episodes, 2003, 2011, consulted a lot of people in the region, in the countries, and what we found is, again, for the first time establishing econometrically, rigorously, that these agreements did have a significant impact on not only flights per week, on seats per week, on prices, and prices fell on the routes where there was competition, prices fell from 20 to 40%. And obviously we know that the economic impact went well beyond liberalization in the air. So since 2005, India has been the largest source of tourist arrivals, and we know that there are regular flights from charter flights, regular flights from Sri Lanka to Varanasi. South Asia can learn from this rich example. You don't need a gold standard of an open skies agreement. Incremental liberalization is the way to go. And Sri Lanka persisted with this. Sri Lanka realized that it was in its own interest to persist. So sometimes even if India was reluctant, Sri Lanka persisted with this liberalization, tried and eventually succeeded in getting access to the very large Indian market, and not just for bilateral but even for third country, routings, and so Sri Lankan Airlines benefited from that.
The 39th National Conference of Chartered Accountants, organized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka, was inaugurated in Colombo last evening, revolving around the theme Hyperleap. Speaking at the conference, Jagat Perera, president of CA Sri Lanka, emphasized that the technological revolution has brought in monumental changes to the professional community, including the accounting profession. This year's conference will focus upon the increasing technological disruption, future HR challenges and changes to the global economy, whilst emphasizing the important role accountants play in propelling businesses to the top.
The digital transformation is occurring not only in the core operational areas, but also to the central functions like finance, HR, procurement, and etc. Digital transformation taking place in several aspects such as paperless accounting, management of data quality, process automation, real-time reporting, big data analytics, tools for visualization, and cloud computing. Automation is not necessarily mean cutting number of jobs. It is to arrange the labor force in more meaningful purpose so that the productivity, the efficiency of the organization can be improved. The rate of change in the 21st century is accelerating. Unless we move with the change will engulf us. The concept of big ones beating the small one is not valid anymore. It will be the fast going to beat the slower. That will be the future. We are well aware by 2025, mobile phones, internet, IoT, 3D printing and advanced robotics are expected to lead the global commercial activities. Do you know today 50% of the world population is using mobile phones? Do you know 45% of the world population is using internet? 30% of the world population is using social media. Digitization is driving the world to a new order.
Addressing the media, Chairman of the National Conference Committee, Dulitha Perera, noted that chartered accountants play a pivotal role in the private and public sector in propelling economic development.
Being an accountant means an elemental force to the organization's governance and strategy execution. This requires a very particular type of person that has been trained to think and analyze in a very unique way. I'm not referring to only going through the practical training that is being offered by the CA Sri Lanka qualification, be it in public practice or in business. Although the practical training is unique and it is setting the early stage of the development of an accountant to be able to be employed in an organization, it is also important that that person has ability to interpret those training that he had into practical situations. And that is why we are recognized as people who are developing these accountants who are employable. And they are employable at any given point in time in our qualification system.
Let's see how the stocks performed after this short break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The ASPI index dropped 27.68 points to close at 5,880.38, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 35.98 points to close at 3,002.14. The turnover was 350.4 million rupees and 10 million shares were traded. Next is Forex rates. With that, we are wrapping up State of Business for the day. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time with more news. Until then, take care. Good night.